DCM works. Can't stop, won't stop. Hey, Ben.
Hi, David.
What do you reckon of the internet?
It's pretty good.
How about, and then, what do you think of the websites that are on the internet? They're on the internet.
I mean, there is a lot of them.
There's at least 5.
Yeah.
And if you wanted, because what you could do if you felt like it, if you liked websites and the internet, is you could make the 6th website on the internet.
I mean, I don't know why I'd warn you. The 5 that are already there are pretty good.
I mean, they're pretty okay, but for
you got Facebook, YouTube, Twitter,
that's it.
Reddit, and Pornhub.
That's all 5. But if you wanted to make the 6th for some reason, because you had like a product, or perhaps you wanted, I'm not sure what else you could use the internet before, but that was one example. And if you wanted to do that, you could with DigitalOcean, who are sponsoring this week's episode.
Wow.
Do you know what a DigitalOcean is?
No idea.
It's not what it sounds like. It's not actually the ocean on the internet.
So it's not actually water.
No, not directly. It's a DigitalOcean. They're a hosting service for websites. So you pay them money, and then they have a server, and then we use them for our website. They're real good.
It sounds very wet.
It's a bit damp, but they're really good. You know, they use SSD servers. You can literally set up a droplet in about 20 seconds. And if you use our referral code, which you can get from dcm.works/ocean, you get $10 of credit, and $10 of credit is about 2 months worth of hosting.
Wow.
So if you were a kind of a person that didn't want to pay for something, you could just use
for 2 months.
For 2 months, and it's like you just take the details of it, and you can just log in, and you can use it as a hard drive, because it's up to droplet's up to a terabyte. So there you go.
Cool.
It is. So if you felt like the internet was something that you wanted, you could do that at dcm.works/ocean.
Great.
And now on with the podcast. It was probably a song that reminded me of it, or I'd done an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice.
Writing is definitely an isolating thing.
From an outside perspective, that's weird as
It makes
fuck.
us look really mental.
But that is because of what it kind of said about art.
I had fun in bits. There were fun bits.
We went and bought a value pack of straps.
Oh my god, we did. There's a big lesson here to learn about storytelling. Hey guys, my name's David, DCM creative director, lead writer. Fuck, hang on, no.
You were gonna do something else for a second, and then you kind of were just like,
What
oh
happened?
wait, no, there's an intro.
No, hang on, how does it go? I go, hey guys, welcome back to the Alpha Artist Podcast, official podcast, Digital Creative Media
There
Works.
you
My name is
go.
David DCM, creative director, lead writer. I'm joined as always by my co-host, Ben.
We don't like change.
Change is tough, man.
No.
I spooked myself good.
Yeah.
I should have just
You were
rolled
like,
into it.
what?
How does this go?
Yeah.
I've only done this 60 times.
Really?
Yeah, it's about that's more than that.
Happy whatever number episode this is.
Happy birthday, podcast. And Ben, this week we're talking about the experience of No Man's Sky. Because we can't stop talking about this video game for some
Apparently
reason.
not. Things just keep happening.
Oh,
It's
boy!
great.
Okay. The reason I wanted to bring it up before any of the other shit
Well,
happened.
it's really funny because you brought this up like a week ago. You were like, oh, we should do another video or another podcast
Yeah.
on No Man's Sky.
'Cause
And I was
we've-
like, I guess.
Because we've
like,
got far enough into the game that we know what the game is now.
Yeah, and we're like, yeah, I guess we can talk about it. And then things happened. It's
Like,
just
literally
yeah,
a
let's
day ago, we were
definitely
like,
talk about
Cool,
it.
let's do it. So if you're here to hear about the things that happened, you've come to maybe the right place.
You've come to a place.
You've certainly come
Definitely
to a
going
place.
to talk about it. Yeah.
Whether it's accurate or not, who's to
Who
say?
knows?
What I wanted to talk about was the actual experience of like what the game is, because there's been a lot of talk about the game and what it was and what it should have been, and
Well, there
who
hasn't
did
been
what.
much talk from Hello Games themselves.
Hey,
Hey, there we
ironically,
go. That's one of them.
That's a good one. That's it.
Tick that off the box.
And we're out of here. This has been a good
Yeah.
podcast, guys. I'm glad we made it to episode 60 something, but it's over. Shut down all the podcasts. We did it.
Yep.
Look, yeah, the game itself, it doesn't suck.
Well,
Okay, he's
it's not amazing.
Well, I want to talk about a bit about where it's at, and then we can talk about what happened with where it's at.
Sure.
So, the game itself is you just literally go around. You're on a planet. You're doing planet stuff. You're mining resources. You're basically doing inventory Tetris for most of the game.
Yeah, it's a
You
good
go
way
on
to put it,
space
actually.
stations, you're fast
Yeah.
traveling to new universes. You're going to other space stations. You're fast traveling again. You're doing that a bunch until you get to the end of the game. And
It
that's
really doesn't sound like a lot.
Now, there are some good stuff. There's some good bits. Underwater was hella good. We loved
Underwater's okay, yeah.
Underwater's better than... Underwater's Underwater No Man's
looks
Sky is a
better.
better game than the game.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where I think we went underwater for the first time and we were just like, damn, we should really play Subnautica again.
Yeah, right? I was like, this is almost good. And
Almost
if it was good, it would be Subnautica. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So our conclusion ultimately is that the whole game should just be the underwater section of the game.
Yeah.
Um,
Or you should just go buy Subnautica.
oh yeah, or
That
just go
game's
play
really good.
Subnautica, or install Skyrim and then just go underwater.
Yeah.
Um,
It's the same kind of
because it's a
experience.
similar experience. I do like. There are some bits of the game that I enjoy, which I know is an unpopular opinion to have. I know that I'm not allowed to like something that the internet.
No,
doesn't
yeah,
like,
you're not allowed to like any part of No Man's Sky.
That's
It
true.
is off limits from fun.
which is fair because I'm not allowed to have fun if the internet says I can't.
Yeah.
So for the purposes of this podcast, let's pretend that
So we're going to ignore those rules briefly.
brief the
Those
rules of the,
strict rules
those hard
of the
and fast
internet.
internet rules.
Yeah.
Because we got some spicy comments last time we did
Did we get
an
death
episode.
threats?
Not death threats. We got a few.
Because if we get death threats, they go on Twitter.
we got a few joke death threats, which I enjoyed.
Oh,
I
that's good,
appreciate
yeah.
that.
You
But
should
no,
put them on Twitter. That's where
Well-
all the funny ones go.
yeah, but Ben,
Put 'em on
Twitter
Twitter, people.
is. You know the thing about Twitter.
It's Twitter?
That's the one. I'm not sure. I don't have a point to make that, but yeah. So like the game itself, like it's fairly robust in what it does, but it doesn't do anything else, right? Like it's a very simple system to the point where I did a whole video where I was like, basically, this game is exactly what it was gonna be.
Yeah, well, like, it was... Well, that kind of ties into... Point number 2 was the whole... They're getting investigated for, sort of, bad advertising practices.
It's misleading.
Yeah, they're getting investigated by some UK based sort of board, sort of like the ACCC equivalent.
It's just an industry watchdog.
Yeah, and they're gonna be like, well, we're gonna look at the advertising and see what they said and fucking fine them if they did something wrong, which is fair enough.
It's also, I mean, it's just the. It's also not how. Okay, the internet. The internet's gonna get mad at me. That's not actually how that process works. People are gonna be mad because they want.
They want Hello Games to like just disappear off the face of the
To get
earth under a
exploded
pile
by
of
a lawsuit.
lawsuits.
That's not how.
It's
But
not gonna happen.
But people on the internet, talking to you, not the listeners, but to the people who aren't listening, who are the internet, who are going to get mad. What I'm saying is, that's not how it works. Basically, what's happened is No Man's Sky was... Their publicity was taken control of by Sony. So Sony were like, here are some directives. You need to hit these KPIs for things like views, things like conventions, things like gameplay. There are these things that you have to do, that you have to show, and you have to get these KPIs for your marketing, and we'll help sell your game. We'll put money into it if you do these things.
Well, even then, like recently, the fucking sort of director of Sony, like director of PlayStation, I think, he like threw them under the bus. With the, he was
such-
like, No Man's Sky was all their fault. Like it was all Sean Murray being a cock up.
This is literally
It was
that's
all their fault. You're
the
like,
most insane thing I've ever heard.
it's like it was mostly your fault in some part, in
You-
like some respects. Like
Honestly, 90% their fault. You paid a company.
You pushed something a little bit too far, and it exploded in your face.
You handed a guy a bag
And you're
of
like,
money.
nah, this wasn't our, because they didn't want it to harm the PlayStation brand, which is fair enough.
But,
It's just
like,
good business.
Don't throw them under the fucking bus.
Oh,
Jesus
well,
Christ.
I mean, it's sneaky and it's like it's horrible, but like they're gonna do it.
I know, but it's underhanded as fuck. Like, basically, they handed Sean Murray a bag of gold coins, put a gun to the back of his head, and they were like, do the thing. And then he walked into a bank and was like, give me all your money, gamers. And then when the police arrived, the fucking Sony president, like,
It was like,
handed-
oh, he did it.
punched Sean Murray in the face,
What
threw
did
the gun
you
away, and
do?
was like, it was Sean Murray who stole from the bank.
Yeah.
I was just watching. It's like, no.
That's exactly what happened.
You fucking had the gun to his head. You made him rob the bank. And people are going to be like, Sean Murray, how dare you rob a fucking bank? I'm not sure if this analogy is still working, but I'm going to roll with
this
it.
is kind of accurate. Yeah.
And, like, the problem is people want to put... They basically want the
People
bank
want
robber...
revenge for some reason.
Yeah, because there's a real, like,
they've
sense
been
of...
wrong.
Because they love...
video games are
People,
important.
people love to be right, and they love to be, like, fucking... What's the word? When you sanctimonious, they love to be sanctimonious on the internet because they're like Sean Murray, the devil himself, misled direct on purpose, and he should
Oh,
get sued
God.
by this watchdog. It's like no, because the game they made was close-ish to what they said. If they were gonna fucking sue people for that kind of thing, Ubisoft would have no money.
I mean, yeah, like
Like,
it would hit a lot of people.
Sales puff is a thing for a reason. It's because to sell shit, you have to get expectations to a point where people will buy a thing. If
Yeah,
Sean
I
Murray
mean-
had gone on the microphone and been like, well, it's a game where you inventory managed Tetris in procedurally generated Minecraft kind of world, but with
They would
you
have been
can't build,
sued
like,
for being too right.
you can't build
Oy.
stuff like Minecraft. People would be like, "Why aren't they selling this game? It looks amazing."
Well, they were like, they didn't compare it to things like Minecraft or things like what it is actually like, games like Rust and whatever. They were like, yeah, it's like Destiny and Dark Souls. No, no. They were like, it's like Journey and Dark Souls. That was the one, Journey.
It's like
They really like to be like, they really like to play the Journey and the Dark Souls. The Journey because, you know, Sony and PlayStation.
I thought it was because there wasn't much story and
No, like that, like
Oh, 'cause of
before,
Sony.
yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
because it's a PlayStation exclusive. I mean, like, the game isn't anything like Journey at all.
well, Ben, it's like Journey in that you play a character
That you do
in
nothing?
a world and then
Oh.
there's not stuff happening.
Yeah. So, but they were obviously kind of led by, and I mean, Demon Souls was also a PlayStation original, but the fact that there's like two sides of the coin. Like, the fact that they mentioned Journey is like, a lot in the interviews was like, oh, it's because it's Sony. But then you're like, well, the fact that they then mentioned Dark Souls is kind of like, not Sony at all. It's very, it's
Which
like, just
again-
say something that all the kids like nowadays. Like,
The
the
kids-
Dark Souls.
In my head, Sony
My
was like,
fucking teenage son sits at home playing Dark Souls all day.
Sony's like-
Fucking
Sony's
talk
like,
about Dark Souls.
Dark Souls sells well in Japan. Just say the word Dark Souls. And Sean Murray's like, but it's not.
It's
I
nothing
don't
like Dark
Just
Souls.
say Dark Souls. What the kids love.
Well, there could be the other side where, like, that was Sean Murray's thought of what the game was like, because he was a bit of a cock-up
you
in terms
imagine
of PR.
The pitch in that PR meeting where he's like, guys,
It's like
what
Dark
we're gonna
Souls
tell him
and
is
Journey.
we're gonna say it's like Journey and it's like Dark Souls.
And the
then
programmers, they're
Sony's
like, what the fuck? The
the
Sony
program-
execs are like,
they're like-
brilliant! Ship it!
The programmers are
And all
like,
the-
Sean,
like,
how
Sean,
is the game?
it's nothing like either of
They're
those
like,
games.
Sean, can you explain to us how it's like those games? And Sean Murray's like, well,
Well, it's called, like...
see, it's like the two games. And they're like, no, but explain to me what. He's like, well, you play with a
Well, you
controller.
do nothing like in Journey, and the multiplayer is stinted like in Dark Souls.
Well, no, it's like you know what it is. It's like it's like Dark Souls because in the multiplayer there are there's databases that you can see other databases of, and then
Well,
it's
yeah,
like
you know
Journey.
what? Like he only like in his eyes, the multiplayer for Dark Souls was probably just the fucking
The messages.
messages. Because that was a big sort of drive, at least with the first game. People were like, "Oh, it's like kind of multiplayer. Like you can kind of
It's
see
esoteric,
messages
it's
less,
real- and it's a
less
cool
behind."
idea.
But like real Dark Souls multiplayer is like there's actual real multiplayer.
that crazy meta PvP shit.
Yeah, like there's actual multiplayer, but like at the time when it came out, its big thing was like, oh, it's like always on multiplayer, but it's a single player game, and everyone's like, oh, that's so innovative. And so he's like, yeah, it's like Dark Souls, when people thought that Dark Souls didn't have multiplayer, but it had that weird one multiplayer thing where you could read messages on the ground. It's like Dark Souls.
See, he should have said that. This is what bugs me, right? It's like if he'd been in charge of his own marketing, he would have just said that because there would have been no pressure to say
I feel
anything
like he
else.
was in charge of his own marketing.
No, because
He cocked up so
Ben,
many times.
When,
Like,
when a company like Sony is like, here is $1 quadrillion to do your publicity, and then they hand you that money and
yeah,
walk
but
away.
then, like, why was he like? It's. I mean, even if he was like wasn't his own marketing, the fact that he was on like every interview and he was such a shitty fucking speaker, and like was really bad at describing his own game.
Well, you don't give a kid a switchblade to do art.
Well,
Like, you don't give a kid a switchblade to make a fucking painting, because you know what you're gonna end up with? Ripped canvas.
anyway, so
Sorry, it
let's get away
infuriates
from
me. Sean
Sean
Murray's a
Murray.
fucking idiot.
So-
but it's not his fault directly.
no,
No, it's not, because it's a fucking giant company involved. That's what
Yeah.
bothers me. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this episode is someone tweeted me a picture of Sean Murray and the team
oh, that's that
holding
photo.
their first copy of No
That
Man's
was the
Sky.
gold, yeah.
And
It's a really old photo. By
and
the
I
way.
was like, wow, these are people.
It's a really good photo where they're holding up a disc of Spore. I like that
Great.
one.
But I was like, because I'd never seen the development team before or whatever. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, internet, these are fucking human beings.
They're also in a very
Chill
indie
out.
studio.
Like, everyone just needs to chill the fuck out. These are people that made a thing and they got in a situation they couldn't get out of. They fucked up a bit. Let's maybe not send them death threats.
But you don't understand, David. This
What?
game was meant to be the messiah of video games. This game was so important to
Oh,
everyone.
okay. No, I
it was the
misunderstood.
next big thing.
No, you're right,
And
that's
they
on me.
fucking ruined it.
No, you're right. That's on me, not on.
Yeah.
That's actually, you know what they did? You know what? Sean Murray didn't do anything wrong. It's all on me. I misunderstood. I didn't realize this game was Jesus in disc form.
Well, no, it is all Sean Murray's
Sorry, isn't
fault.
Star Citizen gonna now be Jesus?
Let's not get into that.
Because that game does look real good. Anyway, look, it looks
I have
good.
played it. It is garbage
Okay, good.
currently.
You know what it reminds me of, and someone at home is gonna punch their iPhone when I say this. It
Sure.
reminds me a lot of Rage. You know the id software game,
Yeah.
where it's like some of it's real good and the rest of it's garbage.
Mega textures.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no, not that specifically, but the corridor shooting in Rage is phenomenal, and the car driving is trash garbage.
I haven't played it, but
Dude.
from my opinion,
Fuck Rage. Is good.
from my perspective and opinion of not having played it,
Uh-huh.
it just
Oh,
looks
tell
like-
me. Hang on, you're a white guy on the internet. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, without having to back on my sources.
Tell me about it.
No, it just looks interesting, but it looks like Borderlands, which is why I didn't buy it.
See, it's very different because it's an id game, so it's responsive.
Yeah, but it looks like
Yeah.
Borderlands.
But look, the only reason I mention that is like that. That's one of those games where it has a really good half and a really garbage half, and I feel like Star Citizen's gonna be the same. Problem with No Man's Sky is none of it's particularly good, none of it's particularly bad.
Yeah, it's all just like very soggy halves,
And you know what?
which together makes like it makes a shirt. It's just a soggy shirt.
I'll be honest, Ben. I don't always want to wear a tuxedo. Sometimes I just want to wear.
You just want to wear the jacket and
yeah.
nothing else.
That's a great mental image. Not wearing any pants or anything.
Yeah.
No, well, like sometimes you just want to wear a singlet and some boxes and lie on your couch all day eating Doritos, and that's
Yeah,
what No Man's
sometimes
Sky
you
is.
just want to be a fucking waste of time.
But the problem is that when you are told that when you order a tuxedo online, you don't expect to get a singlet in the mail. So I can see why this is a very analogy heavy episode. I can see why people would think that you could sue the No Man's Sky publicity for misrepresenting their product.
Yeah.
But there's a reason that clauses include sales puff. For those of you keeping score at home, sales puff is like where you can attribute things to your product that aren't real. So like if I called a skateboard,
so you can lie.
well, no, it's not lying. It's like if I called a skateboard like the coolest thing since sliced bread.
You don't actually have to like cite your sources.
I don't have to prove that. Or if
Or, like,
McDonald's
the
is like
coolometer of,
McDonald's
like-
will make you happy. They don't have to like prove from a study.
Well, there was the time where I got $3 from fucking Red Bull because someone took them to court over the idea that Red Bull doesn't actually give you wings.
Yeah, I do.
So
remember
therefore,
that.
they were false advertising with the whole
That
Red Bull
happened
gives you
with-
wings. I
happened
got
with
$3
Sony.
from that.
Happened with Sony with me as well. We were talking about this a few weeks ago. It happened with me with Sony. With,
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of payouts.
I got $10 from them, but like I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. Like I don't think coming to a company.
Well, no,
who-
I thought it was ridiculous. Like,
I mean, for Red
it's
Bull,
like,
I don't give a shit because they
Yeah.
are making millions off teenagers everywhere.
But I was like, at the time, I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, of course it doesn't give you wings. It's a slogan. It's not a advertising thing.
the problem is that they
It's like
show...
it's not like you can sue McDonald's for not actually loving it.
But the problem with the wings thing is that it is a slogan, but the ads that they create show people getting wings from the
Yeah,
drink. And
in cartoons.
don't get me wrong, the ads still do that, but they include disclaimers that it doesn't give you wings now.
That is true.
Which-
they do conclude.
You know
disclaimers
what?
That
That's fair, because if a kid fucking drank slammed a Red Bull
and then jumps off a
and
building.
jumps off a building, they are liable for that. Sort
They
of.
shouldn't be though.
No, I know, but but America is a litigious society, and they will sue the shit out of anyone they can.
That's a good point.
So this is just another example
Despite
of
this
like,
is coming out of the UK though.
but it's only coming out of the UK because the American games, I'm about to say the word, games journalism has produced this image of No Man's Sky as being like this fucking devil in the industry, which is insane. It's just a game.
yeah.
Like it's just another game.
Well,
If-
no, it's everything wrong.
If you're
with
gonna
games.
sue anyone for misrepresenting, fucking sue like Bandai Namco for putting out a Naruto game every year that's the same game, or sue NBA for making the same game 5 years in a row that I will buy every single year without a second thought and play for 100 hours.
Well, to be fair, they don't advertise those as actually being any different.
FIFA does. FIFA this year, and this is one of the first times they've done it in a long time, because there was a big issue with them in 2012 where FIFA 13 was basically the same engine, same game,
Yeah.
and they claimed that it this totally revolutionized experience, and people could literally put them side by side, and they were almost identical, right? So they ran into trouble because of the way that they phrased revolutionized. What they meant is they revolutionized some of the back end stuff, so the
Yeah.
physics was more reliable and stuff like that.
Sure.
What they said was the game is revolutionized. It's totally different. It's a whole new experience.
Whoops.
But most of the technology was the same.
yeah,
It'd be like if you put out, as an example, if you were a company that made smartphones and you put out the same phone but instead of making a new phone, you just made it a little bit different, and then you took away features and called it a new phone. It'd be like if you did that.
So like the iPhone 7.
I'm not naming names. I'm not naming names. But it'd be like if you did that, and then everyone bought it anyway. Or actually, better example, it'd be like if you No, that's the one I got. That's the iPhone. Because fuck
It's
that.
just the iPhone joke. We went for it. We're all about the.
It infuriates me because the iPhone 7 is really cool. My brother's got it. It's fucking dude. It's like
It's a nice phone.
nah, dude.
It's
It's
just
nah,
missing
dude,
a headphone
It's
jack.
a piece of art, but I hate it. Like it, I picked it up and I was like, this thing is lit. Like this is a beautiful thing that I'm holding, and
I
it
mean-
works. There's no home button. It just looks like a button, which means it's not gonna wear out like a button does. And the same with like there's all these things they did that are genius fucking things, and I hate it. I hate it so much, and that's what I feel about No Man's Sky. I want to love it, but I fucking hate it.
So I think.
I'm just a very conflicted person.
Well, I think let's go back to the first thing, the first tick on the list. The lack of communication since the game release.
Yeah, what, can you talk me through that? Because I wasn't really aware of that.
So
Ironically.
leading up to the sort of release, they had been their Twitter was active, reasonably active.
Well, you
know,
get a promo stuff.
yeah, they would say things, retweet whatever. It was
Okay,
mostly
you've-
just Sean Murray saying things.
Yeah, he runs the company. It's
Yeah, like the Hello Games Twitter was normally quiet. It was normally just Sean Murray's Twitter that was the No Man's Sky Twitter.
So, like, the opposite of what we do. Where, like,
Yeah.
DCM Works is most of what we say, and then the DCM I Hip I handle, and our handles are, like, our other stuff.
Yeah, I think like I think that at No Man's Sky was called Sean Murray. Like it was just his Twitter.
Oh, okay.
I believe. So they were like, yeah, they'd been talking up to release, and then like the day the game came out, there was the famous tweet that Sean made where it was just like, No Man's Sky is not a multiplayer game. Do not go in expecting that. And it's just like, why didn't you say that just like 6 months ago, dude?
No, or don't say it at all.
Yeah,
Because
just
that's
don't
so
say it.
incriminating.
Yeah.
Oh,
it
boy.
is. Yeah, like that was big. And then like, a couple of days went past, tweets here and there going like, yeah, we were aware of stability issues.
Which they fixed.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to fix them.
To their credit, and I hate giving them credit, they did fix those.
And then they said the tweet was just like, it's like we're fully we're fully focused on like customer support at the moment, like more updates to come, and then nothing.
Wow.
And I don't think there's been a real like sizable tweet since then.
Seriously.
Yeah, like their Twitters have just been quiet.
Oh, I know what's happened. So
And
okay.
they are, and like it's like what's happened is just like they're probably just sitting in the corner crying.
No, what's happened
and
is
just scared.
they've gone to their business consultant, who they would have used to hook up with Sony, and they've gone, "What the fuck
And
do
they've
we
gone
do?"
like,
And
shut the fuck
yeah,
up.
the
First things.
The consultant's gone, button your goddamn mouth,
Yeah.
and wait until this blows over.
Yeah.
Then they're like,
Then
keep,
slowly
they're like-
trickle out
they're
release
like,
things.
Keep working on the game. Make it as the best possible game you can. Do not
Yeah.
release any patches. Do not push anything, because people will keep talking about you.
Yeah.
Do nothing, say nothing, but keep working on the game. Make it not shit. And they've gone, okay, cool.
Okay,
And in
sure.
about 2 months, or probably after this lawsuit, if it happens, if that's settled,
Yeah.
after about 2 months, assuming that they don't get sued, because they shouldn't,
I don't think it'll go through.
they're going to
everyone's-
push a massive update. They're going to re-release the game. They're going to do what Necropolis did. They'll be like, Necropolis Hardened, or they'll rename it.
Yeah, they'll do some shit like
They'll be
that.
like,
yeah.
Every Man's Sky, or whatever, and then they'll re-release it.
No Man's
with
Sea, Subnautica edition.
No Man's planet.
Man's Ocean.
No Man's Ocean. No Man's Boat.
No, maybe they'll go No Woman's Sky
Oh!
to appeal to the SJW
What about? Hang on,
crowd.
let's think about it. No Person Sky. Huh? How
How
about,
about Yes Woman Floor?
that? Close? I like that better.
It's a cool one.
Let's
yeah.
keep workshopping
Yeah.
it. But look, I think what's going to happen is in about 2 months, they're going to push an update. It's going to make the game half of everything that everyone wants it to be, but it's not going to be enough for people.
It's gonna make it. It's gonna make it half of what people want, but it's gonna make that half 100%.
Correct, and that's when they'll come back to life, and then so either that or they'll change the name of the studio and start working on another game.
Or something else, yeah, and they'll just hide it.
Because that's what I would do. If I was Sean Murray, I would.
Well, I mean, you can't get away with that kind of thing. Like like other companies have tried to do it, especially back around when there was that whole War Z Daisy thing.
Oh boy,
Like that was a whole like series of just like name changes and just like all these games coming out, all
what
made
did it
by
end
the
up
one
being
dude.
called?
Infestation Survival Stories. H1Z1 is Sony's game.
Yes,
which
and
isn't
that's-
Sony anymore.
which
It's
is-
Daybreak now.
and it's actually quite good.
It's pretty good. But yeah, like no, War Z became like Infestation Survival, some shit like that.
Yeah, because they basically literally ripped off
Oh, I mean, yeah, like, no doubt about it.
Ironically, it worked better than DayZ at the time.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I did want to talk about, someone tweeted me in relation to, because I offhandedly mentioned DayZ a while ago when we were talking about No Man's Sky in that episode.
Yeah.
And I wanted to address that. I made a comparison between DayZ Standalone and No Man's Sky development processes.
And the fact that they were both really badly handled.
The point I made was that they were badly handled because when you give people that aren't used to having funding a lot of money, they don't know what to do with it. So
Yeah.
they keep trying to spend it on stuff.
Yeah.
So what happened with...
Same thing's happening with Star
Yeah.
Citizen.
So what ends up happening... That's right, yeah, because that's how we got to talking about it.
Yeah.
So basically what happens is your scope blows out because you suddenly have all this money, but you're actually the same person you were before.
Yeah,
You're not
you're just the same person with money, which doesn't actually
You're not
equate to
transformed into
anything.
like a superhuman with great judgment. You just have more money.
Yeah.
So suddenly you're like,
So you can
"Ugh."
make more bad decisions, if anything.
Yeah, and because you're an indie developer, you haven't had 10 years to quietly make mistakes. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, think about if you're a comedian, right? One of the best pieces of advice that people like Will Anderson and Gareth Reynolds give new comedians is they're like, for the first 7 years of your comedy career, do not put any of your stuff on YouTube. Like, just don't post anything. Then when it gets good, that's when you start posting and sharing stuff. Because
Yeah.
you're going to be shit until then. What you don't want is when you're a successful person.
To people go back and be like, oh,
Like-
God, what the fuck is this?
What a dickhead, you know. And Philip DeFranco is a good example of really owning that, where he was
Yeah. He was garbage for
he was
a while.
the worst human being.
Yeah.
And he goes back and looks at those videos and is like, man, I'm so glad that I'm a different person than I was. And that's a way of owning it, but I don't think Hello Games can do that because they've poisoned the well, right? So they can't in 5 years be like, wow, remember when we fucked up No Man's Sky?
Yeah, remember we fucked up that game that everyone wanted to be good? It's like,
Because-
that's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's not like a haha, good
It's
party
like,
story.
haha, it was pretty funny.
Or it's like-
you guys ruined
Someone like Minecraft where they do a bad update and they're like, we fixed it in the next one though. What a good time. Everyone's like, yeah, okay. So it's like a different... I just don't know how they come back from this. Or... the two options are my best. That's
No
what I
Man's
would do. If I
Sky
was
2.
them. Well, if they were going to do...
Electric
Actually...
Boogaloo.
Okay. That's a good one.
Thanks.
That was a great one, Ben. I'm really proud
It's a
of
good
you.
meme.
Look, I'm just worried that what's going to happen is in a few kind of... Like, they're going to let themselves have some time to let this all blow over. But the problem is that the games journalism is so... I did it again. The games journalism, and again,
said it.
is so, like... what's the word? It's like SEO focused, right? Like, it's search engine focused.
Yeah, it's all
not,
click- yeah,
It's not
it's-
content focused.
Yeah, it's
So-
numbers rather than
Rather than...
quantity over quality.
Not even that. It's... See, it's not about... It's not even
It hits
about...
it. Yeah, I know
It's
what you
not about-
mean.
It's about frequency over... it's like frequency over substance almost. It's a different
Well,
equation.
it's that
right?
thing where it's just trying to hit. You know, it's the same reason why like some YouTubers upload like they're like, oh, I upload one video a day, and it's like their videos may still be like entertaining because they may be done a certain way, but it's like you're still doing one video a day. You're still like hitting that content, like that sort of peak level content, and some of it's probably going to be super clickbaity. And that's all you really need.
Well, this always brings me back to this thing that Adam Kovic talks about, because people often criticize Funhouse for being very clickbaity, and
Yeah.
his response is always, it's clickbaity because we make content and we like it when people see that content because
Yeah.
we're proud of the things we make. So sometimes we will do thumbnails that get people to click on a video because God forbid we think the video is good enough for you to want to click on, right?
Yeah.
But there comes a certain point with like particularly with like news stuff where you hit the threshold where it's no longer about the video, it's about the click, right?
Yeah.
And it's about the angle that you take that from. And I think No Man's Sky is a great example of where everyone is like, fuck, everybody's talking about No Man's Sky. I've got to get my dick in that action. Instead of what they should do, which is go, okay, well, let's take a step back. Let's take 3 steps back.
See
and
what's
go,
actually important
and
about
go,
this.
And go, what can we learn from the situation? What's the thing from the situation that is important, or the problem, or the solution, anything? But instead of that, they're just like, what's the latest thing that happened that everyone's talking
and
about?
can we
with
make
this thing?
2 articles about it?
Can we do 2 videos instead of 1?
Yeah.
Can we recap all of our other videos and do it's no longer about the conversation. It's about the idea of the conversation and how frequently you have it. And it shits me because No Man's Sky and what they've done is fucking nuts considering the size of their studio.
Oh yeah, there's like it's insane how they. It's insane that the game even exists.
It's like 4 people, a cat, and an Intel computer from the 90s. Like, that's
Yeah.
their team.
Yeah.
And they've done a really good job, and they got fucked because Sony looked at them and just saw dollar bills.
Yeah.
And that's what they've been turned into. And the fact that those dollar bills didn't deliver,
Well, they did make quite a lot of money.
man, they made so many dollars.
They made quite a bit of money.
And you know what? I could have refunded my copy of No Man's Sky. And this is even if we weren't doing the series, I could have refunded it because the Australian ACCC had a thing for about a week where you could refund it through Steam. But I was
we got
like,
a lot of protections in Australia.
well, that's because they treat us like humans instead of animals.
Yeah.
Specifically with consumer laws, nothing else. But that was
yeah, I was
one
going
of
to
the
say it's the only thing that applies
literally
to.
the only thing. But I was like, I'm not gonna return it because I've enjoyed the time I've spent with it. As much as it pains me to pay, like to not get that money back, it doesn't seem fair to turn around and be like, well, Sean Murray, you didn't deliver the thing that you almost.
Well,
said that you
Sean
might
Murray, I
do."
found this loophole that I'm just going to take my money back.
And I
Thank
hate that.
you very much.
I hate that. I hate it when people do that and they're like, well, I got my money back. I check that serves them right. It's like, no.
I played the system and I fucking
a
Scrooge
team of-
McDucked them well.
There's a team of people that worked on that game that have like families and lives and bills to pay, and you're like, let's take some money back. And Steam is like, all right, cool, because they don't give a shit. They're making money anyway. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Just before you write a death threat to No Man's Sky about,
Or us.
well, actually, don't worry about us. Before you write a death threat to Sean Murray or his team or anyone involved, just have a really hot think about the fact that they did a really good job with what they had, and that you don't blame the guy who had a gun to his head when he robbed the bank, right?
No,
He still goes to prison, but it's not his fault.
Yeah.
So there you go. Analogy over. Episode
job.
over. We did it.
Nice.
Look, Ben, as always, shit, what do I do here? Well, yeah, where can people find
Where you
us?
can find us? I don't fucking know. Internet. YouTube.com/.
Did you just say on the internet?
Yeah.
Oh, we have a new website, Ben. We got the website
Oh, wow.
up.
Website's up.
You can go and have a look.
DCM.works.
It's taken me 5 years to do, but it's up.
Means we can only just say DCM.works now, and that'll be everything.
It
Won't
will-
have to
but
remember
we'll still
all
say
our
everything
different
anyway.
handles.
We're at
Okay.
DCM_works. We're on the Facebook, DCM_works social. We're on the internet, DCM.works. We already said that. If you want to do the thing from the start of the episode where you get a website, you get $10 off and it helps out the show, DCM.works/Ocean. That's Ocean, OCEAN.
Oh,
For
man,
a
I
minute
really
there,
wanted you to fuck that up.
I was really worried that I would fuck it up. You can go there. I've made a very beautiful splash page, if I do say so myself, and I
Nice.
do.
With that
You can
sick
go there.
CSS
Dude, it's beautiful.
in JavaScript.
Took me a long time to get it right, but it's there,
Okay.
and you can go there, and you can click on this. You can go there, and it's there.
Wow.
And it tells you about it, and you can go to the other offers that we have if you feel like those are things that you might
Beautiful.
want to do a look at, or even if you don't want to buy the thing, just go and look at it. Tell me I did a good job. 'Cause I'm constantly seeking validation. Look, Ben. We have a new channel. I have a new channel, The Antagonist, on YouTube. It's not in the show notes. I'll forget to put it in, but you can just go into YouTube and then type in. Actually, it's from our YouTube channel. But yeah, it's video essays. There's some stuff. You can go
Some
check it
videos.
out. That's the end of the plugs, Ben, and the end of
Alright.
the show.
Well, goodbye.
Bye. That was very abrupt. Do you have a joke? Can you end with a joke to like soften the ending?
Nah.
Okay, good. That was good. That was really good. It was probably a song that reminded me of it, or I'd done an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice.
Writing is definitely an isolating thing.
From an outside perspective, that's weird as
Makes
fuck.
us look really mental.
But that is because of what it kind of said about art.
I had fun in bits. There were fun bits.
We went and bought a value pack of Strepsils.
Oh my god, we did. There's a big lesson here to learn about storytelling.